Your audience with humor, and we know Brian's working on this comedy routine. Brian, a couple things. You got great material. You've really got some good stuff in here. I do want to talk about how it's delivered and how it's sequenced. The number one thing I would say is a big part of timing or speaking is humor is timing. And you should have a sameness in your vocal variety and your pace. And you need to break that up. And when you give us a punch, you need to put a pause there and use a little like you're frustrating and put a punch in with the punchline you're coming in with. So set us up, work back and forth with the audience a little bit more. Then there's some sequencing and some what I would call some setup for some of the terms you have. I'm just going to walk through your speech, right up front. When you say, "Here I am, old Baldy," and you go right into Beavis and Butthead, there's a good chance there's going to be a lot of people in the audience that don't know who Beavis and Butthead is. So I would have a setup from that standpoint to set up, what you look like or what people thought you look like. Then you get into how you reject yourself. And here's where I think you really have a strong comedy position is taking up the idea that you thrive on rejection. Because most people hate rejection. I thrive on rejection. I knew my mother loved me because she rejected me at 9 months, right? I thrive on rejection. The next thing I go, I'm a ladies' man. Well, I'm a man. And then you go into this list area. The list area has nothing to do with being a ladies' man. Doesn't have anything to do with rejection. It's got some humor, but it's not sequitur to the rest of your humor. Then you go, I think you could do on the marathons. I said, well, I thrive on rejection, so women are always running away from me. So I decided to start chasing them, and I started running marathons so I could chase women, and say, how hard it is to run a marathon when you've been sprayed by mace in your face, and then and then you go another one. You train this woman to run the Boston Marathon. She sprinted the last 17 miles. And I'm playing on this thrive and rejection. High school football player. I loved it. I had 2 girlfriends. One of them's an ex and one of them's gay. They both rejected me. I couldn't be happier, from as you go into that. And then you start making a list of things that people don't like. Oh, the bar scene. I thought my luck was changing. She asked, "Is this seat taken?" And she's sort of cute. I love the scene. She took the thing. I picked up a table and followed her. I love that vision of you taking a table through the thing, following a girl who took it. And then I started making a list of things that annoyed me. People not laughing annoys me. I just want to let you know I feel great because you guys are rejecting me like crazy along that line, and it just really makes fun that nobody's laughing. And then the substance abuse, I want to try to handle it, substance abuse, verbal abuse. The cop thing's okay. The snowboarding, another chance to get rejected. But I would, instead of saying, it wasn't my grandson's snowboard, it was somebody's grandson's snowboard. You can play off the not my grandson's snowboard to somebody's grandson's snowboard. Now, here's the other thing. You're losing your hair. And I think there's some really good stuff you can do here. More setup about, I realized that my hair started to reject me. I'm losing my hair. And then as I looked in the mirror, I realized I wasn't losing my hair. I was moving my hair. Okay? It was going from here to here. So your hair was moving instead of losing on that. And then on your peeing in Morse code, that's the punchline. And what you want to have is I started listening to my body. I started listening to my body. I realized my prostate was trying to tell me something because I started peeing in Morse code. And I think the last thing is I'm standing in the mirror, looking like a chia pet, peeing in Morse code. I was so ugly. I've never been happier in my life because I could finally reject myself or something along that line. And you just do this whole thing on thrive on rejection throughout the scene. I went in a little bit over, but that's because I wanted to reject myself as a coach. Over to you, Aaron.